In this video, let's continue to play with some operation on the census roster we have. So let's try to find out the sex ratios. That means, how about we try to find for all ages their female and male ratios. So let's focus on only 2019. So earlier in our US populations, we get the information for 2014 and 2019. So let's focus on only 2019. So we have the US population 2019. So let's see here. So in 2019, we have the sex and the ages. Of course, you can see we have more than 300 rows omitted if we only show the first three. So the first thing, can you find the population for all ages for the female, male, and total? So that's called all ages. It's equal to the US pop 2019. So then, right, we need to use where, right? So we only want the ages equal to 999, so that will be the total. So we see the all ages display. So you can see from the first one, you will have all ages people, including different sex. So so if 1, that's mean only for the male, then 2 is female. So can you find the population for the infant? So infants, remember, we will have the ages equal to 0. So you have the infants for the all infants and the baby boy and baby girls. So here you can see the where I just wrote, we're using the value. But here we also can do the equal. So you should see they will be either way be the same. You can just specify the value. Or like we say, we have the art function you can do. So you can do the arrange, or here just exactly value. So either way will be fine. So that will be the infants. So how about for the all male population? So let's have a male all rows. So if we only want to find the list for all the males, so the same thing, we use the 2019 data. So where the sex will be 1. Like we say, you can either do exactly the value, or we can do equals, equal to. But equal to will be a function, so don't forget your parentheses. So we display the male for all row. So you can see the male for the all ages. Like earlier we say, if we want to find the ratio, so on the other hand, the same thing, we need to have the female's information as well, right? Okay, so let's have our female. The female row. So then we will have the sex equal to 2. So then you can think about, how should we get the ratio? Right, if we want to get the male and the female ratio, we just need to use the column from the male to the female. So they both are in the column 2. So we'll create another table only using the ratio here. So the male to female ratio, we can use the all row from the males then will be the second column. Right, so then we divide by, each one divided by the female. So then we display the information. Of course, here is the male to female. If you want to do the female to male, that will be the same. So that will be the ratio. So you can see because you use the column, so that's why they will return to each column is an array. So that's why when they divide by each other, there will be an array as well. So you can see if the ratio greater than 1, that means we have more male. If less than 1, then you can see that we have the more female in that age. So that will be an array, right? So array actually is kind of not, we only see the value, it's not easy to see. So if the male and female ratio, we want you to create a table to display instead. So how will you do that? Right, so remember here we have all the value. So the columns just all the ages. So here, right, remember how to create a table. We use the tables function. So the table function we have with columns. Right, so remember you can add the column label and your data. So on the other hand, you want to have the table very similar like this, but one thing we just want to display the ages and the ratio. So that's why here we only need the age column, and here we just have the ratio is using the value is the male to female ratio. Okay, so here that's why we have the two columns. So the first column we still call age. So then the value is still the same as the original one. So those things you can either use the male O row or female O row either way. So then you got that value from that column. Okay, so then we're just using the male O rows. Okay, so dot column. So you can either do column 1 or the index 1 because that's the second column, or you just have the label. Either way is fine. So then the second one, our ratio. So our ratio here is male to female ratio. So that's their label name. So the value is what? Right, the value actually is the array we return here. Okay, so let's see how about our table look like. Okay, so right, so then we have the tables. So which way, just be careful when we do the calculation using the column value, divide by another column value. Remember they are contain one array and second array. When they divide by each other, the value is still stored in an array. Array is fine if you just want to know the value, but we want to show result better for the people, for human to read, right? So that's why here we need to create a table. Then you can have your column label and your value display. So by default, if you just display the table name, they will just give you the first 10 column. If you want to show everything, okay, so then you just do the show. Okay, so then, yeah, of course, if you want to see more. Like earlier we say, if greater than 1, you have more male. Then less than 1, we know that's female, more female. So we can see actually for 2019 data, they have more male younger than, I think younger than 40. So over 40, actually they have more female. Okay, so of course here we didn't remove the 999. This one, if you feel like this one is not, we don't need to use that. So then we can drop this one. Otherwise, here just mean the total, the male and the female ratio. So we say drop, actually we just kind of not including the age equal to 999. Okay, so the same thing here. Let's do that. If we don't want that, okay, so we already have the ratio. Okay, so then we can just redo the ratio using these tables. Okay, so then the same thing where, because you will create a new table. So age. Okay, so not equal to 999. So if you want not including the 999, so you can redo that. Okay, so we see the whole table. So they just remove the 999 if you don't want to include in the total. Okay, so that's, you can play with more because we're using the example for, we only use the data for 2014 and 19. So if you want to try, you can also get other years. Then you can doing the same thing to find the male and the female ratio. For this one, we use male to female. Maybe you can try it by yourself to see the male or female to male ratio. So that's our census data.